Okay, let me be the one to say it. I want to introduce you guys to something called the UFO table effect, where UFO table could take something that looked like shit that you once thought was shit and turn it into something that you genuinely fuck with. Because I will say, as somebody who read the Demon Slayer manga, I wasn't too enthralled with a lot of the stuff that happened. Mind you, it's not even because I was spoiled by the anime. That's just UFO table doing UFO table shit. But when you add really good music plus really good visuals, it creates an atmosphere that can make you genuinely fuck with the anime you're watching, i.e. like the stuff that happened today in episode 6 of Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer, the Entertainment District. Seeing Tanjiro's little quote-unquote transformation, they made it look really cool. And on top of that, the music that played during the whole sequence was actually fucking raw. Not to add, if you guys seen the thumbnail, then you guys know Nezuko did the Nezuko thing. And even her final pose was hard. When I tell you this shit looks way better than what I read, because anyone who is anyone knows that the Demon Slayer manga is ugly as shit, right? Like, it's quite ugly. Even the moments that they try to make look good, it still doesn't hold up to UFO table, but that's because UFO table know what the fuck they doing when they turn up. Like, when they turn up, they turn up. You wanna know what's even crazier though? UFO table will use moments from the manga and translate it exactly into animation form and use it for comedic purposes and make us like that shit even more, even though we know it's from the manga and it's ugly. But yeah, today's episode, it definitely, not even just today's episode, last week's episode made me fuck with this shit a lot because of the theme they gave Uzui when he showed up. That shit was cold. Aside from that, the way that they told the story of, we're just speaking on today's episode, the way that they told the story of how Tanjiro got his scar and Shinjiro was just like, yeah, you know, people who are born with your scar, they're sun breathers, and Tanjiro was like, nah, bro, it ain't even like that. I tried to save my little brother from getting hit by some scalding water and I got burnt. I'm not a chosen one. They made it seem pretty cool. They made it seem pretty cool, especially with UFO table. The music really sets the tone for me. I tell people this all the time. I am an avid, gotta make sure I repeat this, I am an avid promoter that music really makes anime. Because when you have really, really, really good music, it can turn something that looked so basic into something that literally stands above like all else. It can really do that. But if you have super shit music and the fighting scene is cool, it kind of sullies the scene. At least to me. That's just how I feel about it. I'll get into that in another video. But let's continue with, you know, what happened today. On top of the fragmented memories, as I like to call it, the fragmented memories, even though, you know, that's not the title of the episode, this is just my interpretation of Muzan, you know, going up against, I won't say because that's basically me, you know, spoiling a whole bunch of shit. You guys understand what the earrings mean and who they come from if you read the manga, or even if you don't, you still get like glimpses throughout, you know, season 1. You will know that every demon has what Daki experienced today. Like, they experience like memory shits, which gave off, you know, the impending fear, right? Like the deep-seated fear of Muzan himself, which I like the way they orchestrated it in this anime, right? Like, I like the way they orchestrated it in this episode. It, again, you feel it. Reading manga, like, yeah, you know, you got to use your imagination and shit like that. But like, when you can bring the imagination to life, that shit is crazy. It feels a million times better. Not to mention Nezuko flipping the fuck out, right? Kicking the shit out of Daki. Kicking the shit out of Daki. That was cold. I like that a lot. I'm glad they did it that way too. And you know, the convenience of breathe, Tanjiro, breathe, because it could have ended there. It could have ended there. But I mean, that makes this arc, like everything else that happens, null and void. You don't get the Nezuko transformation. You don't get Uzui doing some Uzui shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a lot of the shit that's to come. Granted, everyone thinks this isn't, you know, a good arc, and this arc made a lot of folks not fuck with Uzui. I appreciate Uzui for who he is and even what he contributed. Mind you, it may not seem like a lot to others, but the effect that he has on, you know, Inosuke and Zenitsu and shit like that, it means a lot. And I think that's pretty cool. That's just me though. That's just how I perceive it. Again, it's the UFOTABLE effect. They really can make you like something that you didn't like when you read it. You can even go back to Fate, because who the fuck pays attention to like Fate story beats unless like you really give a fuck about it? Like me, I love Fate. But that's besides the point. A lot of Fate's story does not make any fucking sense, but you fuck with it because why? UFOTABLE put their ankles in that shit. Just like they're doing with Demon Slayer. They're putting they have no choice but to put their ankles in it because, you know, they're in the red. This episode, I'll just say it, this episode was really good. It was a fantastic interpretation to a shit looking manga, I'll say, because one of my homies was just like, bro, I think you should go back and read it because, you know, after I read it all the way through, I think it's pretty good. And I thought it was shit because we, you know, as somebody who read it week to week, you were anticipating and you were speculating, and then when shit happened, you were just like, that's kind of trash. But I'll save that for a different video. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. If there's anything else you would like to add to what I've said, or if you would like to detract from what I said, let me know in the comment section below. And it's your boy XDomoSenpaix. I will see you guys in the next video.